There we go. So, welcome to episode 4, Ammertime Podcast. So I'm here today. We're here having a bit of a gaming day. Right now, around the recorder, we have Patrick, Oliver, Christopher, myself, Henry, and also in the room is Lasse. And we have a new special guest today, Kasimir from Malmö in Sweden, coming to play some Warhammer today. They're probably going to come on the podcast in a bit, but we're just going to talk some stuff while they're finishing up their game. Patrick and I played a quick game of mirror matchup High Elves today.
Very different lists, though.
Yeah. Star Dragon list versus MSU list.
Yeah.
It was very one-sided, which was nice for me. But we're going to talk some High Elves today, just because it's on topic. But first, we have a surprise segment here. Maybe Christopher, you want to take it away?
Yes. So what has happened since we last came on the podcast is that Patrick actually got his degree. He finished his degree. He is now a master of business law.
That was really bad.
It was? Did I butcher it?
Master of the universe.
So could you explain
the universe.
Why are we talking about this?
Because supreme power.
So there's a point to this. So what is your title now?
Master of Science in Business Administration and Commercial Law.
Right. So
just for those that can't see Patrick's face right now, he's very, very confused.
Very confused.
He doesn't really know what's going on.
And still very handsome.
And what happened was
haircut.
that we decided to give him a little present. So I'm just going to get
We have a little present for Patrick, and he's looking very uncomfortable now. He's not sure what's going to happen. And Christopher's just gone over to get the said present.
Yeah.
And so this is very bad radio.
And if you know what was going on, the whole day has been kind of leading up to it.
Yeah, we've been planning this for a while. So Christopher's even wrapped it in Christmas paper.
I wrapped it in Christmas paper, and this is a small box. It's about 4 or 5 inches tall.
It's a figure-sized box.
Yeah. It's a figure-sized box.
The size of a miniature on a 20 by 20 case.
So let's have
Patrick, we're gonna have a live unveiling of the opening of the present.
A live unboxing.
Yeah, maybe you can describe what's going on, Patrick.
Okay, so I received this present. The paper is red, full of golden dots. It is obviously wrapped by a guy because it's wrapped really shitty.
we
Open it already.
But now I'm gonna open it and see what's in it.
and you have to be careful.
Of course.
The guy who taped it should never be allowed to get close to green stuff.
No.
There's a reason why I didn't.
Oh,
It came in a
look at
little
it.
case.
So inside we have a custom-made Loremaster model.
Yes, we do.
Let me just help you a little bit here, because
And it's painted.
That's the key thing.
That's the best. Oh, nice.
I think we should.
It's actually really, really cool painted, and they even made like small stars on the cloak and everything. Jesus Christ, that's really nice.
I haven't actually seen it in person yet, only pictures. Let me
Yeah,
have a look.
it's a beautiful model. Everyone's
Oh, wow.
looking at it right now.
It's really, really good. So now,
It's really
I
good.
can play my double Lawmaster list. Oh, nice. You painted it?
Yeah. So the story is that Jonas from the Ammertime Podcast, he bought the model, and Henry converted the model. So we will try to get a picture of it going somewhere. But instead of a running Lawmaster, this guy, he is in a more relaxed pose with his
Crystal ball.
We can post it. It can be the picture of the.
Yeah.
Well,
Henry did an amazing job converting the model. He actually sculpted hands. He had to resculpt the hands,
It looks really good.
and
Really good.
and I had the pleasure of painting it.
And you've been going on about Lawmasters for the last half an
And
hour.
I've been going on about Lawmasters, but it took me 13 hours to paint it. Maybe more, probably 16 hours to be perfectly honest. I tried out a lot of different new techniques. I wet blended the cape on the model itself, so the layering there is kind of sublime, even if I do say so myself.
We can post some pictures.
I can burst it on the picture. I also made so that he's now rather than a flaming ball, he's holding like a crystal ball in his hand, and I painted that in a way so that it looks like a small galaxy. That's the thought anyway. It has like a spiral on top and a lot of small stars.
So we're trying to be hobby gamers here.
Yeah. And I went through the items in the Hive book to get some inspiration for the cloak, and
So that's how you came up with the build?
I came up with the build of the demon
wanna use
hunter
the Cloak
helm,
of Stars.
the cloak of the stars, and the book of Milady. So I figured the orb could be the book, and the Cloak of the Stars is the Cloak of the Stars, and then his helmet is pretty elaborate by itself. So that kind of makes sense on him. So I painted his armor black, so he's got black scale armor, which I had to highlight every single scale individually. The light is probably not very good right here, but maybe I can help out Patrick with a.
No, it looks nice.
Yeah, so today we're going to go talk about some high elves. What we were discussing just now before we started recording was the high elf elite infantry. So obviously you have your White Lions, your Phoenix Guard, and your Swordmasters, and we're just going to discuss what we think is the best choice, why we think is the best choice, and maybe there's some uses for the other choices. So today we played a game, and I had an MSU high elf army with a unit of White Lions and a unit of Swordmasters, just two small units, and Patrick had a huge unit of Swordmasters. How many did you have today?
29.
29 Swordmasters. I had 10 Swordmasters and 15 White Lions with a BSB stood in there. And yeah, I think your Swordmasters were really good. You killed 17 models in one turn.
Yeah, but the problem was I didn't take anything to kind of kill chaff.
So you didn't really like your list that much today.
No, but it was done really quickly. And when I looked at it, I was like, maybe there should be something that can shoot in the list. But then I kind of went with it anyway.
5 Reavers, I got it covered.
five Reavers bows was not enough.
Yeah, so Christopher, you were talking earlier. You said you didn't like the Phoenix Guard.
No, I looking at the internal balance of the 3 core elite infantry units, I think the Phoenix Guards are a little bit lackluster. I think they're good if you plan on going up against something that has very few attacks.
So if you're tuning your list against a specific build, they are good.
Maybe so. They
So I feel like undead would be good against them. They
something
find a lot of ranks.
mediocre weapon skill and very high strength attacks. Something like Grave Guards maybe.
Grave Guard they're good against.
But against most other things, because they have.
You have to give them a Razor Banner. You have to. Strength 4 is not enough. You have to give them armor piercing.
I think with the armor piercing is just too expensive for what it
You
does.
have to have a Loremaster to get wild form.
Well, you have to now.
I think they have their place in an army that contains 2 units of. Well, it's probably going to be 2 units of 14 Swordmasters and 1 unit of 30 White Lions, and then you can take like 25 Phoenix Guards.
How many points are we
If you
talking
have
about?
Yeah, I mean this is 2,400 points, and
But it's
so each block is
I
like
think-
300. And
I think the Phoenix
points
Guard
apiece.
are good if you want to have a big block because they fight in 3 ranks, which means they get a lot of attacks in a short frontage. I mean, but the Swordmasters you get the same because they get 2 attacks apiece anyway.
Yeah.
But I think the Swordmasters work better in smaller units, and the White Lions are kind of medium units. And I think Lasse was saying earlier that the skirmish White Lions are quite interesting choice.
we should try them out.
Yeah,
next
I
time,
think that's probably the next thing I'm going to try out. The new version 10.0 skirmish.
And they'll be stubborn in forests.
Yeah.
They're stubborn in forest anyway.
The Strider. Yeah, Strider. And they have the bodyguard rule.
It doesn't give them
No.
stubborn.
No, but the skirmish is in forest.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah.
Don't they have the Strider forest?
Yeah, they're forest.
Yeah,
rider.
but that doesn't make
That doesn't make you
Just
stubborn.
means they're steadfast.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Phoenix Guard are better in a block, whereas the other units are, if you want to play like MSU, like I did today, 15 White Lions, 10 Swordmasters, smaller units. But at the same time, Swordmasters, I think they're the standout unit for 13 points apiece.
Yeah.
But I really think you underestimate the Phoenix Guards.
Yeah.
They provide
Flawless
you
Ward Save is so good.
exactly. They provide you with the most dirty elves you can possibly get at the top of the
Dirty
3.
elf.
But you know,
But you need to be good at rolling 4+.
yes.
They've
But-
always failed me every time I played.
I'm good at rolling 6+, but not 4+.
If they had a plate armor, maybe.
If they had 4+, yeah.
Yeah.
But
That would
5+,
help them.
4+,
For 2 points more. Mind you, the
and
Phoenix
they
Guards
and
are
they
15
can't
points.
flee. They can't flee.
Yeah.
But they will last more than 2 rounds of combat.
Yeah, but
That is a break.
not if they break. And also, the Swordmasters will usually kill whatever they're fighting.
Yeah, but that goes for all the elite infantry. Either you die or
Someone's arrived.
you kill the other ones.
Yeah.
And that's not always how it should be.
The way I envision them being used is 25 in a block, and you use them.
30.
And Patrick thinks I think 25, and you use them, or 20 only. Maybe
I only
30
own
points.
20, so I would say 20.
Yeah, but 20, and then on the flank, because they're immune to psychology, so they can't be panicked off, and they can hold their own against most other flankers. But then again, you're gonna have
Usually being panicked off is not the the flaw of the High Elves.
No, obviously not. But I mean, in an infantry list with which is going to be very wide
On
because
the,
both.
on the flank, it's going to be hard for them to reach something useful.
Yeah, so
It's
maybe
gonna
the
be
movement.
very, very expensive unit on the flank, only to kill like whatever comes their way.
Well, the thing is, I've been playing a lot of Undying Dynasties as of late, and I've been running a unit of 30 skeleton warriors, and somehow, for some reason, they always end up being put further to the side rather than any other unit. But in the end, they always end up actually, because nobody considers them, because they're an infantry unit, even if they're just moving with the banner, the movement banner, they're still kind of fast, so they get up there in the end.
Yeah.
And by the end of it all, they will be up there on the side of something, and then they can charge it in the flank, and it's gonna happen that way.
I think you give them the Razor Banner. You have to.
I don't think you have to. I think it's too expensive for what it
You
does.
have to give them the Razor Banner.
But
Yeah, they can't kill anything. They only shrink 4.
look at Phoenix Guards. They're the ultimate platform for buffs
Yeah, for sure.
of any kind.
that's true.
I know we're just holding them up against each other now, but take any magical buff whatsoever, and you have a very, very good unit.
Yeah, the spell I was
or
using
if you're
today-
running the Loremaster and you cast plus 5 regen on your Swordmasters, then you have like almost the same protection but with a lot more killiness.
Yeah, but then you could also opt to go for a wild form
yeah,
on the
well,
Phoenix
form would be
Guards, and then you even have toughness 4,
I think.
strength 4.
True.
No, yeah, it's strength 5.
Yeah,
good.
I
You
agree.
have to get it off though.
I agree that the Phoenix Guards are good in a build where you have
Where you
multiple
think
targets
you're
for
going to buff
spells,
them.
and where you can also where you have both the other 2 units. I think you have to take the 2 other units before you take the Phoenix Guards. I wouldn't.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe a big block of Phoenix cards and the 15 skirmishing white lines.
Ooh, yes. You have the hammer and
Yeah.
you have an anvil.
Yeah. How do we feel if we were going to take Phoenix Guard? Would they be 13 points apiece? Would they cause fear again?
They have to have something else other than what they currently have.
15 points apiece.
Yeah,
I don't like that they can't flee. I love to flee.
I need
But
to
it-
buy. I
I
need to
think-
bite my tongue right here because we're only talking internal balance.
So I think if they cause fear, then they don't cause fear themselves. They don't have to take fear test, right?
right.
And they don't suffer from fear if they cause fear, correct?
Right.
So if they cause fear, then they don't take as many leadership tests anyway. And
But
I think
then-
you can take
then
off
they're-
immune psychology.
Then they're really powerful because they give -1 to leadership.
That would
but
give
I
them
think
a-
that's
that would- yeah.
worth it for
Yeah.
15 points.
Yeah.
So you would run the Phoenix Guards with Fear Causing, and you would run the Lawmaster with Blizzard spell and the Death spell, so you would give a unit -3 to leadership.
Yeah. Why not?
It's really, really powerful.
Yeah, but it's
It's not all that.
not. You have to get 2 spells off,
Yeah.
and you're only getting 1 spell per turn on average.
Not with
It's
this
not with the
build.
Lawmaster build, because the Lawmaster can easily get 2 spells off.
And then he will get much more off than that.
You get a lot off, but then you're just going to dispel them. But I think the fear would make him balanced a bit more
He
internally.
will give them something, either like a plate armor, fear causing, or point
Plate
reduction.
armor is not. I think that's for the Empire, It's just
Yeah, but I mean,
But they always cause fear. Why don't they cause fear now? Even 16 points, it just gives you an extra
Fear,
little tool.
fear is better now. That's why they took it away
It's
from so
very
many
good.
units.
Yeah, and none of the undead have it anymore.
No.
Like none of the regular skeletons or
Poor
anything like
undead.
that.
But it's a fantasy world. You have hobgoblins and goblins and ogres and trolls. An occasional skeleton. That's nothing.
it's not gonna be all that.
I
scary.
have a big dog, so that's.
Yeah, that's
So,
a good point.
How about white lions? How do we feel about them skirmishing?
Nice.
Nice.
I wished for it in the forum, actually.
Yeah.
Not on the forum.
I really like the options it gives you.
And
It
then
suits the
Yeah,
fluff. I mean,
yeah.
they're lumberjacks running around in the forest. Come
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
how are you gonna keep a transformation inside a forest?
But then the bodyguard thing, does that?
They're still stubborn.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, with it.
I think it's cool. I think it's cool.
It's a
I'm just-
skirmishing unit of bodyguards. I mean, if you're protecting a prince fluff wise, you would be standing there until you die.
Yeah, and I can't really see.
Otherwise,
any
you're not a
ways-
bodyguard.
I
Come
can't
on.
see. I don't know about any of you guys, but I can't really see any immediate ways to exploit this like really, really hard.
Put them in a forest.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm sorry, but they're skirmishes.
They're
They
good
get
against
light
widows.
cover. They get an extra defense.
3+ arm save against shooting.
Yeah, put them there.
but
Who's
but-
gonna attack them? You're attacking a unit of great weapon wielding guys.
but there's 15 guys of them.
But you can
Right.
just move around the forest.
You can move around the forest, and it's also there's something called a fireball.
Yes, but they're
And there's something
skirmishers, so they
called,
just move
what's it called?
again.
The tree seeing spell.
The tree seeing spell, like Tomb King archers will still take care of them. Not with a 3
But
plus
they're,
armor.
they're
so-
still very maneuverable.
And how many points apiece are they?
13.
16.
16.
I think it's skirmish 3 points.
Yeah, I think it is.
So at 16 points apiece,
maybe
they should be able to do
let me just
something.
look it up because I
I
don't.
think the strength 6 is huge. That
Yeah.
kind of sets them apart from the swordmasters. Like if you're fighting cavalry with a 2 plus armor save,
Yeah, not
then
to
they're-
mention the buff to the wound.
No,
to-
15 only with skirmish.
Yeah.
It's only 2
I
points.
think that's okay.
Yeah, I think also
It's
that's okay.
reasonable.
Yeah.
So they are same
The
price.
strength
as
6
cards.
the strength 6 is the big thing for me. Just
Also, they improved. Now they are actually stubborn against anything fear causing.
Yeah.
Mind you that.
They,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
is that a rule?
Yeah, it's a rule now.
Yeah, you
You
have
have
a
the Valiant special rule.
if you only have a unit of 10, run them after a monster.
Yeah, they
I
will
think-
take care of that.
I think small units of 10 with skirmish is quite.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's
strong.
150 points without any upgrades. That's really reliable at killing monsters.
And if you think about it, it costs you 10 points to buy a musician, but it will cost you 20 points to upgrade 10 of them to skirmish,
Right.
which eliminates the need for a musician.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's you're paying 10 points more for a unit, and it's so more maneuverable.
Do you take a banner and a champion?
No, fuck that.
The champion might be worth it.
Yeah, maybe
Depends
champion.
on the rest of your list.
I think the champion's useful if you're, for example, if you're stood in a wood and
With the champion.
with a champion and
Yeah.
a monster charges in.
You don't
Challenge
want to challenge the monster with the wildlands. Come on.
No, but if you want to just hold it up for 2 turns.
You do double wounds to it. You want to kill it.
Okay, for example.
wait.
Listen, monster charges in.
Yes.
Monster charges in. You challenge. It's his turn. You challenge, and then you're stubborn because you're going to lose combat.
So in your turn.
and then
you
your
want buff.
turn, you charge in with your own unit, another unit, and then you get all the white lines attacks, doing multiple wounds, and your unit, and you take the monster off.
But maybe just.
Bye bye, Star Dragon.
But if you would just kill it, but why would the Star Dragon charge you?
no.
Yeah, I simply think we can agree that there are some very, very, very cool uses for this.
I think it's a good upgrade because
Yeah.
it fits them fluff-wise. Even though people will say, "Oh, the fluff is not there
It
anymore.
might-
It's not ready yet, so maybe they'll have new
think,
fluff."
I think the skirmish upgrade should be 1 point more. I'm sorry to say.
3 points.
Yeah, I think. It
I
would
think
put them-
we'll see. We'll see.
because
when people use
shades
it-
and stuff like that, who are also really powerful skirmishers. with
Shades
16
are really
points.
good though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and-
but they shoot.
yeah, they should. They do something entirely different. I understand that.
Shadow
But
Warriors is 16.
I think the points are pretty okay, but they need to remove the multiple wounds.
Mind you, we are just.
That's a different
That's
discussion.
not going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mind you,
No, but now we're talking about the unit.
none of us has actually played the unit skirmish.
No.
No,
And nobody has have ever played against it.
No.
no. And,
So, but
I'm happy I'm not an ogre playing against them.
Oh yeah, God. You mentioned
That's if you're going to a tournament, take a unit of 10. If you end up against a
it's only
unit of
130
ogres,
points.
just run them up into any big unit you have. It's gone.
and you can have 15 in the unit skirmishing.
Max.
Yeah, but
Nice.
10 is okay.
I think you take 10.
I
Yeah.
think you take 15.
I would also
Really?
take 15.
15.
Yeah,
Come on.
a lot of staying power in that.
You're not going to get shot or killed or shaft up anyway. Like
That
No,
just
you
that just
don't
means
have
that going 10 wide.
you
against
can see the
something-
wood elf players.
The
like,
problem is if you're going to a tournament and you have really a lot of small units, some armies will have a really easy time picking up a lot of points from your army. So you're not gonna end up that good, which I think is the curse of the MSU.
Yeah, is that you give a lot of points away.
It's easy
Yeah.
to give up a lot of points, especially if you're playing against something with a lot of magic missiles or shooting.
Yeah.
yeah,
because
I was
10
quite worried about
10
your spell today.
Yeah, but I only had one spell that could actually hurt you,
Yeah.
so it didn't really matter that much.
Which brings us back to the Loremaster.
Yeah,
Spell utility from
Yeah.
that guy.
but the slan with all the signature spells is really good. But now you can have the Lawmaster with +5 or +6 to cast.
Yeah.
Even better, and he's cheaper.
Yeah.
No, but you need to invest a lot of points.
Yeah, mind you, the 125 points for the 130 points for the level 2 with the scroll.
It's gonna be better, and it's gonna be probably a little bit cheaper than the slan.
So I made a list based around the.
You made a list for high elves?
I did. While painting this guy, and mind you, I had 16 hours to think about him.
16 hours thinking about Lawmasters. Okay, let's hear it then.
So the idea is basically the lead infantry list, and what you do is you take a Lawmaster, and my initial thought was obviously the Cloak of the Stars,
Which is shit.
which is apparently shit because what I thought was your opponent would get -2 to cast against any unit that contains the wielder of that cloak.
But then it says any spell cast against the unit gets -2.
Yeah, so any buffs you try to cast on your own unit will also suffer from it.
I
So
wasn't sure about this.
yeah, we're a little bit.
But what was said in the forums was that it affects both your own spells and those of your enemies. So I would never take it.
But then remember that the banner of Becoming contains the bounce build drain magic.
Yeah.
So you can remove any
hexes
on your on your units.
But it was still a good setup, I think, because he could go into things like Swordmasters and make them much less vulnerable to fireballs and all that kind of things. And the big thing here is that the Loremaster is only a level 2 mage, but he has access to all the signature spells. He has access to the Path of the Lost. Now the thing was that in the old days he would only have a +2 to cast. So even though he had a lot of spells he wanted to cast, he was behind by usually 2 because your opponent would have a level 4 or whatever.
Yeah, but then back then the book was better.
The book was better. But the thing is now what you give him is you give him you don't give him, but you also take a level 2 mage with a scroll, who's basically a scroll caddy, and you use the aided casting. And you use that in order to get to a +4, and then you can take the Banner of Becoming on a unit of wide lines that he's probably going to be in. Takes him to a +5.
Just to clarify, you get +1 from the banner,
right?
+1 from the aided casting.
Well,
you're gonna add the aiding casting first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So you take the +2 from the aided casting first. That's +4.
Why did you get +2 from aided? Oh, from the level?
Yeah, because the support caster is actually level 2. That's the tax you pay on this setup. It's very expensive to get that +2 extra.
Wouldn't you just take level 1 +1?
No, because you want to get as much plus as possible. You actually want to get ahead of your opponent, so you want to have like +5 to cast.
And also if you want to do something really tricky, you can double up on some signatures.
Yeah.
Can you take double Loremaster? Is that good?
No, that's too many points.
But if you really like the miasma spell, you can just have the level 2 on Shadow to have double miasma.
Yeah, that's a good.
Or double wild form or double blizzard or something like that.
the one thing that I had was he actually had the high law of white magic.
That would also be good.
Yeah, that's the one I took on the level 2.
That's what I used to do with my level 2.
Yeah, and because the level 2 is not going to be casting any spells unless a Loremaster dies. That's probably the way.
Maybe because if you have
the spells are really useful in that.
It is really useful, but you want to use the +5 combination as much as possible, and you also want to use the book.
You can use the +5 on the High Mage. He's in the same unit.
He has to be in the same unit, and you only have the utility of throwing 2 spells, so your opponent's going to know, and you have to declare that you use the aided casting first.
But if you have like the 6th spell from the High Law,
right, that could do it,
and the 5th spell from the High Law,
that could do it.
It would be really good with +5 to cast.
But do you guys remember playing against Wood Elves in 8th edition when they were standing in the woods with a Book of Hazor? It was +6. Yeah. We're talking about approximately the same now, but with a huge amount of spells.
Yeah. Only 10 spells.
Only 10 spells. But please remember that was way more powerful than you actually imagine when you're hearing it's +6.
So the whole, it's almost an extra dice in every single spell. And with the book and the way that the casting value is on all the signature spells is at the base level, all of them can be 2 diced with +5, given the fact that you can use the book if you mess up once. That means that most of the spells will be cast on a 4 or better on 2 dice.
So you're casting 3 or 4 spells a turn.
Yeah, it's very strong.
Very powerful stuff.
You can
right
very reliable cast with 2 dice any spell that's 11 plus.
And also, something we haven't discussed is when you have that many spells, you are not as bad off when you have like a low power dice phase and a higher power dice phase, because you can always cast your spells.
They are
and they're always useful. Sometimes you have magic setups where if you end up with 12 dice, you're not going to use it all.
No.
Yeah.
But
you have so many spells,
you
right?
get the,
2 dice, 2 dice,
exactly,
2 dice, 2
you
dice,
get the fireball spell, which is amazing against the right opponent. Which is amazing against the right opponent. You have the Lore of Metal at Lore attribute, the Lore of Metal signature spell with the molten metal.
Yeah, the
D6s,
armor save.
Yeah. He can do a ton of damage downrange, and he can also start buffing your units when you get into close combat. So you have really Swiss Army knife kind of setup with this guy.
How about the item you used today, Patrick? What's it called?
Amethyst crystal.
Amethyst crystal. How did you feel about that today?
I really liked it.
So
actually,
first of all, what does it do?
Yeah, what does it do?
First of all, it takes one of your opponent's power dice and it converts it to a decimal dice for you.
Yeah, there was one point I rolled a 2 and a 1 for magic.
So I had 3 decimal dice and you had 2 power dice.
And I was like, let's just go to the shooting phase.
But I like it, but it's really expensive.
Would you take it again?
Yeah. But it depends on the setup, of course.
Yeah.
If I'm running a level level 3, level 4, yeah, I think it's a good item. For me, I don't really like to give my mages ward saves. I think it's a waste.
Yeah, I didn't today at all.
So,
Yeah.
But-
So finally, swordmasters. We like.
Yeah.
we like them.
They're useful. The +1 to hit, -1 to hit is really strong. You can tailor it to what combat you're fighting. If you want to kill stuff, if you want to preserve your numbers, I think they're really good. I use small unit. I think a small unit's really good. 15 attacks in the front with 10 is pretty strong. Hitting most things on a 3 or a 2.
And a small unit of 10 is only 130 points.
Yeah. I think I would like 2 units of 10, but I couldn't fit it in.
Yeah, I think the way to go is 2 units of 14 if you have the option.
2 14s.
Yeah, because that's
How many
21
points?
attacks.
That's what it used to be back in 7th edition.
I think you run units of 7 then.
No,
Yeah.
14.
Didn't you?
Yeah, there was no supporting attacks.
Yeah, so you had units of 7.
No,
Now you just double down and take 14.
when we went to the tournaments, everybody had 14
Maybe.
because you had the step.
But that
stepping
was in 8th edition,
up. No,
right?
7th.
7th.
There was
Oh.
no.
There was no stepping up in 7th edition.
No, okay, then
That wasn't.
but you were hitting first anyway.
Not
Yeah,
not
of
then in
Always-
7th.
it was always strikes first, wasn't it? I can't remember.
now.
Oh,
Anyway,
in 7th they did hit first.
Yeah,
pretty sure.
yeah,
So we think Swordmaster's the best,
yeah, absolutely. By
then
far.
White Lions, then Phoenix Guard.
Yeah.
And we would like to see Phoenix Guard get
I-
some kind of
I-
boost, I think.
Well, I think we should try the skirmishing wild lines
Yeah,
first.
I think that's going to be the next game. Maybe
No,
tonight?
those-
What time is it?
It's
We can have a
fine.
game.
We can get one. Maybe play a doubles game. Let's play some skirmishing White
The
Lions.
15 skirmishing white lines look on paper to be quite the utility.
But
unit.
then again, you are also the high elves can be like ambushing sea guards and
Yeah.
fast cabin core, skirmishing special choices, skirmishing red choices, shooting with your queen's guard, shooting with your shadow warriors. I mean,
ambushing with your
ambushing with your sea guards.
How did you
It's-
feel about the Sea Guard today?
Actually, I think the boost with the armor piercing for the spears is really good.
Yeah, I agree.
everybody
It's
likes
really
that.
It
Everybody
was
likes that.
really important that the spears got better because
Yeah.
before they were not good enough.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still need the lethal strike, but I guess it's a good thing to
Yeah,
have.
I think
I think
that's
it's nice.
I
But
think
the
so.
armor
didn't do much
piercing,
today.
the armor piercing is really the most important thing.
Yeah, but also it has to be combined with the effects of the nerf to parry. I mean, parry got nerfed and spears got buffed.
Yeah.
So
I think
Because-
it balanced.
Be-
I like the new parry.
Before you would take the sea guards to have weapon master to switch to parry.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
That's what I was doing before, but now I'm like more like, okay, we'll go for
Spears are good.
spears.
Yeah, the extra rank of attacks, the armor piercing, and the added utility against certain units. I think they're there. I think they're
think
there.
Spears
I
are
think
good.
the spears are about right now.
Yeah,
What about you?
Yeah, Kasimir,
Yeah.
you said that you just mentioned that you wasn't too sure about the new parry save.
Yeah, what I don't like is.
But perhaps you're biased.
I mean, I realized that the reason it was nerfed was that the elite units with parry were too good. But at the same time, it feels like there's no reason to run an elite unit with a shield because you get no bonus all of a sudden if you
But
have a high weapon skill.
For example, like I'm making a Vampire Council army at the moment, and the weapon skill 3 Graveguard with a shield is quite good because
but-
it means that elves are only hitting me on a 4+, and elite units
Four
are only hitting me
bonuses. Elves will still hit you on 3+.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's 4
yeah,
bonus.
but it's not a 2+.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure,
So
but I mean, it's
something
still,
like that when they're only weapon skill 3 is quite good. Or if you have skeleton warriors
Yeah, it's
and then
amazing.
weapon skill 2,
yeah. I mean,
then I'm building all my skeleton warriors with shields.
I think the problem is that I play Undying Dynasties, and all of a sudden there's almost no reason to put your fighting characters with gimps their weapon skills to some into the skeletons or the tomb guards with shields
Yeah,
anymore,
this is true.
because you get just a marginal improvement in combat. And now, as today I was fighting as a unit which also had parry, then all of
yeah.
a sudden they don't get any improvement offensively,
No.
no improvement defensively. So then it's like it doesn't really. You pay like out the nose for these characters, and they don't really improve the unit.
So you
that
think
much.
maybe you're going to take your skeletons with spears?
Well, no, because I actually had them with spears. Then I removed all of the spears, put up hand weapons, so I'm not going
Not going to change them all back.
I'm fortunate with my Undying Dynasties in that I made all my core models with spears for modeling purposes because I think it looks beautiful.
That was the first for me, but then I lost so many games in
Yeah,
the 8th
yeah.
when you had to pay for the
with the-
spears. So,
Yeah.
so that
Maybe not now.
Tomb Kings in 8th edition was a horrible, horrible thing to play. I mean,
and I played them all through 8th edition.
Yeah,
from the start to the end.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Well done.
thank
Did you win? Did you
I
win?
won
many
one
games?
for tournament, but we
Yeah?
used end times rules.
Okay.
Great.
So it's like Nagash and Ark in the Black Tandem
Yeah,
running down
no,
the
it
field.
was like 3 sphinxes, and they all moved like above 20 inches each turn. And I pushed everything.
Yeah, okay.
It's really
I
nice.
had a saying, just like Necrons in 40k back in the day, where their win was a draw. That was kind of like the same with Tomb Kings in 8th edition. Like
Yeah,
their
draw.
their win is a draw.
I think Tomb Kings are quite balanced actually in the new.
Yeah, I
the
think
new
so
one.
too.
I played a couple of games against Tomb Kings.
Yeah, I think right now I'd say that the only problem really is how do you take your fighting characters? Are they worth the points, or will you just end up being more of the 8th edition where you just take a lot of mages and then some other units which you buff?
And I agree. It might sound wrong, but I tweak the setup of all my fighting characters to wear the crown, so they can actually buff any unit within 6 inches rather than have to be in the unit themselves. Because no matter what I do with them, they always come out as a little bit too squishy. They're just not tanked enough to kind of like when you pay premium for them, 275 points for a kitted out lord, and so I mean, I'm just not gonna risk it. I'm just gonna take a cheap one, put them in a unit of archers behind whatever I want to be fighting, and then use the crown to buff the weapon skill.
So slipping now into some Tomb Kings talk.
Yeah.
We were discussing both of your armies a little bit this morning. Both of you are taking Tomb Guard in your army. What's the reason behind that over Necropolis Knights?
Well, for me the reasoning is that they're painted. So that's why.
That's a good reason. I mean.
For me, the reason is that the cataphract, the snake surface, I hate the models. I hate it.
Yeah,
They do look really
they take
dodgy.
a year to paint. Like I've still not finished them. I have 5, which I've been working on for probably 2.5 years.
Yeah,
So-
and that's what I mean. It just
What kind of conversions could you do for them?
use the sepulchral stalker models.
Yeah, maybe.
They're quite cool actually.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, there's probably some alternative models. Like one of the coolest one I've seen from the UK, I think, is like there's this fluffy thing from 8th edition where there was a nation of the Tomb Kings which used like lizards and stuff.
Okay.
So he had like
I've
huge
seen that,
crocodile
yeah.
models.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
That's
they-
a Danish guy.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
Danish guy.
It's a Danish
He's-
guy? Okay.
There's a Danish guy with crocodiles.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, maybe, but he was playing at some tournament in the UK.
Maybe,
right.
Maybe he went over there.
or maybe somebody inspired someone.
Yeah,
to
it's
say
just-
that.
obviously
Yeah,
that
but I
happens.
mean that's a cool conversion.
Yeah, what are they called now? Cataphracts?
Yeah,
I think it's called Tomb Cataphract.
Yeah, exactly.
Two cataphracts.
You could build like out of scrap skeletons, build something that they would ride on.
Yeah,
Out of scrap skeletons.
you would probably do something like
Get
that.
some demigryphs and
Yeah,
Some-
or maybe
or-
you could get like small, like a skeleton dinosaur or something, or skeletons, like some kind of bigger animal, just to mount them on.
you get elephants.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one of my friends has a empire army with elephants as demigryphs.
Okay, that sounds pretty funny.
So
Yeah, but
I'm building a vampire council army at the moment, and it's like a empire army, which is a vampire council army, and so I'm converting all my stuff at the moment. I need something that if I want to use demigryphs for the empire side, I need like something equivalent for the vampire council. There's not really anything
Can you like do
in the
something?
same base size.
Can you do like something with the dragon knights, or no, what are they called?
the blood knights?
Do them like put them like on a larger base, like put them on a cavalry base, but put them into a larger
Do
base.
you know how much blood knights cost?
Your firstborn child and your retirement pension and
I have to get a
and a
loan
leg.
to get some of that.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we should take a quick break now. We've talked some High Elves and some Tomb Kings.
Yeah, we'll take a break.